Hello and welcome to This Date in History, also known as TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred to date in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but many things that we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The sources of this information comes from the smart device application, Today in History, What Happened Today in History, Historical Calendar, and the website onthisday.com. For links to those sources, the music, and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar of the description below. Anyway, I am A.O. Xander, and today is Woden's Day, also known as Wednesday, May 25th, 2022. Starting us off in the year 567 BC, which is 2,588 years ago. Wow. Servius Tullius, the king of Rome, celebrated a triumph for his victory over the Etruscans. Jumping it up into 240 BC, the first recorded perihelion passage of Halley's Comet. Oh, that's cool. The perihelion is the closest it gets to the sun, right? Like, let me double check right there. I believe so. Yep, the point in the orbit of a planet, asteroid, or comet at which it is closest to the sun. So the first recorded of that. That's cool. Jumping on up, one hell of a time jump here. In 1085, Alfonso VI of Castile took Toledo, Spain, back from the Moors. In 1420, Henry the Navigator was appointed governor of the Order of Christ. Alright, hopefully he guides everybody in the way to God. 1644, Ming General Wu Sangui formed an alliance with the invading Manchus and opened the gates of the Great Wall of China at Shanhaiguan Pass, letting the Manchus through towards the capital of Beijing. 1659, Richard Cromwell resigned as Lord Protector of England following the restoration of the Long Parliament, beginning the second brief period of the Republican government called the Commonwealth of England. Interesting. 1 year later, in 1660, Charles II landed at Dover at the invitation of the Convention Parliament, which made this marked the end of the Cromwell-proclaimed Commonwealth of England, Scotland, and Ireland, and began the restoration of the British monarchy. 1738, a treaty between Pennsylvania and Maryland ended the Cono-Jocular War with the settlement of a boundary dispute and exchange of prisoners. Moving on up into 1787, after a delay of 11 days, the United States Constitutional Convention formally convened in Philadelphia after a quorum of 7 states was secured. What's quorum mean? Like a conjunction, possibly? Quorum. A quorum is the minimum number of members or a deliberative assembly necessary to conduct the business of that group. According to Robert's Rules of Order newly revised, the requirement for a quorum is protection against totally unrepresentative action in the name of the body of an unduly small number of persons. Alright, well, that's interesting. I believe we've already looked that up before, but I'm going to put that in the underbar anyway, because that's what the show is all about, education. Jumping on up into 1809... Chuquisquala Revolution, a patriot revolt in Chuquisquala, or modern-day Sucre, against the Spanish Empire, sparked the Latin American Wars of Independence. Interesting. 365 days later, in 1810, during the May Revolution, citizens of Buenos Aires expelled Viceroy Baltazar Hidalgo de Cisneros during the May Week, starting the Argentine War of Independence. Interesting. At least they didn't throw a guy out of a window or something like yesterday. In 1819, the Argentine Constitution of 1819 was promulgated. Alright. And then in 1833, the Chilean Constitution of 1833 was promulgated as well. Okay. Promulgated. Like, let me look up what that actually means. Pretty sure it means, like, confirmed or something, but, words. To promulgate is to promote or make widely known, which is an idea or cause, or to put, in the case of a law or decree, into effect by official proclamation. Okay, so, they're like, oh, hey, this happened, blah, 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 so the world will know. In 1878, Gilbert and Sullivan's comic opera HMS Pinafore opened at the Opera Comique in London. Is that the one that Bart had Sideshow Bob recite. Let me check here. HMS Pinafore. Sideshow Bob. I believe so. Yep, it was. Alright. Oh, hey, Soen. I didn't even hear you come in. Welcome to the show, good sir. We are up in 1895.
1985, playwright, poet, and novelist Oscar Wilde is convicted of committing acts of gross indecency with another male person and is sentenced to 2 years in prison.
Dang.
Yeah. You to go to jail for being gay.
Well, I'd rather go to jail than get, lynched or something,
Okay. Also in 1985, the Republic of Formosa is formed with Tang Jing-sung as its president. Wow. 1914, the House of Commons of the United Kingdom passes the Home Rule Bill for devolution in Ireland.
Devolution.
Wow.
What does that mean? Let me check that out.
Devolution. I must say devolution. Why are they fucking devolving?
It is the transfer or delegation of power to a lower level, especially by central government, to local or regional administration. So essentially, they're giving them, authorities. So okay, well that's cool. Or wait, was it? Oh wait, no, they're reducing Ireland's government. Okay, no, that's not cool.
No, there's not. I can do a couple more. 1925, Scopes trial. John T. Scopes is indicted for teaching human evolution in Tennessee.
Oh man, dude.
Because he get mad. He ain't come for no damn monkey. Shut up. A monkey would be like apes. Don't insult apes with your ignorant attitudes. Apes are more smarter than you.
Dude, like,
and also,
like, did you know it's surmised that chimpanzees have entered the Stone Age?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And you're probably laughing at the cavemen too.
Yeah.
Okay. 1926, Shalom Schwarzbard assassinates Simon Petrulla, in the head of the government of the Ukrainian People's Republic, which is in government in exile in Paris. Wow.
Oh man. Oh wow. Okay, so he was in exile and then he got assassinated. That's horrible.
Yes.
That's just awful. 9 years later, in 1935, Jesse Owens of Ohio State University broke 3 world records and tied a 4th at the Big Ten Conference Track and Field Championship in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Yep. Hey, you know what happens later?
What?
He beats Hitler's best and wins an Olympic gold medal.
Oh, that guy. Okay. Yeah, that's right, Jesse Owens. Yeah. Dude, that constantly reminds me of the Bill Burr bit about, like, after the Olympics, you have to sit in the car with an even more angrier than usual Adolf Hitler after he got his ass handed to him. Dude, I gotta show you that bit. It's funny. Anyway, 3 years later, in 1938, during the Spanish Civil War, the bombing of Alicante killed 313 people. Dang.
Yeah.
Oh, I have one more. And in 1940, during World War II, the German 2nd Panzer Division captured the port of Boulogne-sur-Mer. The surrender of the last French and British troops marked the end of the Battle of Boulogne. Okay. Well, dang.
1953.
46.
No, 1946. The Parliament of Transjordan makes Abdullah I of Jordan their emperor.
Emir.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like emperor.
Yeah, 1953, nuclear weapon testing at the Nevada test site. United States conducts its first and only nuclear artillery test.
Yeah, I saw a video about that actually a couple weeks ago. Like, isn't that insane? Like, launching a nuclear weapon with an explosion, just like, it's one thing to drop a bomb, but it's another thing to fire a missile, or like fire a projectile. And this was like literally launched out of a cannon. and like what was it, 1.5 miles away or something, touchdown.
That's it. Yeah.
Something crazy.
Also, in 1953, the first public television station in the United States officially begins broadcasting as KUHT from the campus of the University of Houston.
Cool. You have one more, right?
Okay, yeah. 1955, the first ascent of Mount Kilimanjaro on the British Kilimanjaro expedition led by Charles Evans, Joe Brown, and George Bann reached the summit of the third highest mountain in the world, 8,586 meters. Norman Hardy and Tony Strather joined them the following day.
That's interesting.
Yes.
6 years later, in 1961, during the Apollo program, U.S. President John F. Kennedy announced before a special joint session of the U.S. Congress his goal to initiate a project to put a man on the moon before the end of the decade. 2 years later, in 1963, the Organization of African Unity was established in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Cool. 3 years after that, in 1966, during the Explorer program, Explorer 32 launched. 32. That's incredible. Your turn.
1968, the Gateway Arch in St. Louis, Missouri is dedicated.
Wow.
1973, in protest against the dictatorship in Greece, the captain and the crew of the Greek naval destroyer Velios mutiny and refused to return to Greece, instead anchoring in Fiumicino, Italy.
I wonder how that went out.
And
oh
in
God!
1977, Star Wars, actively titled Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope, is released in theaters.
Dude, my dad, tells me every now and then, he was, part of, within, the first weeks going and seeing that movie, he wasn't really, that much of a nerd. He was a, he was a jock, he was a, a sports guy, he was a surfer dude, a hippy-dippy, guy, but, can you imagine putting yourself, back in the 70s, how everything was and everything, and then, you go to see Star Wars, and then the first thing you see is just the ships coming out from the top of the screen, it was a whole new world at that point, that must have been incredible, Anyway, also in 1977, the Chinese government removed a decade-old ban on William Shakespeare's work, effectively ending the Cultural Revolution that had started in 1966. So, well, that's 11 years. That's more than a decade. So.
Yeah, somewhere you can see some people holding back Mao Zedong and she's trying to shoot that person. Let me talk to him. You got a gun, sir. It's just a microphone.
There's a microphone. Anyway, 1978, the first of a series of bombings orchestrated by the Unabomber detonated at Northwestern University, resulting in minor injuries. Didn't we cover, what was it, his death or his birth? His birth, right?
It's death.
Death.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's birth.
Birth,
it's birth.
okay.
It's birth.
Oh, that's intriguing. So just a few days after his birthday, or somewhere within a week after his birthday, he struck. So, his first time. It's pretty radical. In a bad way. Then in 1981 in Riyadh, the Gulf Cooperation Council was created between Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates, aka the UAE. Okay, well that's pretty cool. And that's, now it's your turn.
Okay. 1982, Falklands War HMS Coventry is sunk by Argentine Air Force A-4 Skyhawks.
Dang.
1985, Bangladesh is hit by a tropical cyclone and storm surge, which kills approximately 10,000 people.
Jeez. Dude,
1986. Oh yeah, continue.
I was just gonna say, like I don't even know how to express this. It's like this weather event killed 10,000 people. This killed 50,000. This killed 100,000. Like how many millions of people have been killed by natural disasters? Like billions of people. Like it just makes me think. Like 10,000 people. That's a lot of people. But we seem to cover events like this every day. Granted, they're probably hundreds of years separated, but it's still, kind of like the plane accidents and all that stuff. Every day we cover them. I don't know, just a big numbers every day. It's just like, wow, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Also, 1986 Hands Across America event takes place. It was people holding hands to help fight hunger. It didn't go so well.
Yep. There's still hungry people. So.
No, it's just the whole thing didn't work together. But they were trying to go from coast to coast.
Well, it was an ambitious plan, so.
And also, the Hands Across America thing was also used in a horror movie in the past. Yeah. A movie called Us.
Us.
It's about well, you find out later it's a government thing that made doppelgangers of us. And eventually got scrapped and they got put underground. But one of them decided to let's get all the other doppelgangers and bring them up to the surface. And they started killing their own doppelgangers.
Is this the one that has Jordan Peele?
Yes.
2019. I found it. Huh.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to take a look at this one day.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, well, it has Jordan Peele, so it has to be pretty crazy.
And that's in the mind 3. There's your turn.
Okay. 1997, a military coup in Sierra Leone replaced President Ahmed Tejan Kaba with Major Johnny Paul Koroma. 2 years later, in 1999, the United States House of Representatives released the Cox Report, which details China's nuclear espionage against the U.S. over the prior 2 decades. So we know all of this, and we're still working with them? What is wrong with us? Our weakness is that we are so compassionate, we're so open armed, we're so, lovey-dovey, we're all on this planet together, Well, China is not like that in the least, and they are exploiting that to its full potential, and I don't know why people haven't figured that out. Wow. Anyway, going on up into the year 2000, Liberation Day of Lebanon. Israel withdrew its army from Lebanese territory with the exception of the disputed Sheba Farm Zone, 18 years after the invasion in 1982. Dang.
Okay. 2001, Eric Mayer becomes the first blind person to reach the summit of Mount Everest in the Himalayas with Dr. Sherman Bull.
Man, I can't believe I can't think of a more painful experience than to be up on the roof of the world and not being able to see anything.
Hey, imagine then just putting him in a freezer and on some steps.
Oh my God!
Hey, you did it! You made it to Mount Everest. It's so cold. Yeah. It's just brought to a fucking freezer.
You know what? Maybe that.
Put him on the Stairmaster. That's wrong.
Someone should do a movie about that, or that should be a bit in a Simpsons cartoon or something.
Actually, they did that shit before in Family Guy. Brian was dating this blind girl, and he did that dumb shit. Instead of bringing her to the Eiffel Tower, that's what he did.
I
got 2 more.
Yep.
2002, China Airlines Flight 611 disintegrates in mid-flight and crashes into Taiwan Strait with the loss of all 255 people on board. Oh God, it disintegrated.
Yeah. That's awful. I was just talking about, plane crash. Here we go again,
God damn. Looks like a Chinese plane would rather disintegrate than land in Taiwan.
Well, Actually, wouldn't that be counterintuitive? You know, you think that they want to make it there because apparently Taiwan is sovereign territory. So.
But the Chinese plane's like, nope.
Yep. Even, you know what? There you go. China, even your planes know better. You know, about time to just accept it. Taiwan is not part of you. So. Anyway.
One more. 2008, NASA Phoenix lander touches down on the Green Valley region of Mars to search for environments suitable for water and microbial life.
You know, that just makes me wonder, like, eventually, somewhere down the line, aspects of NASA and NASCAR will combine to form space race. You know, NASCAR in space. Yeah, you have literally infinite, like wilderness out there, and they'll still be making nothing but left turns, driving in circles. Jumping up in 2009, North Korea allegedly tested its second nuclear device, after which Pyongyang also conducted several missile tests, building tensions in the international community. Well, we don't even have to say allegedly, we know what's going on. 2 years later, in 2011, Oprah Winfrey aired her last show, ending her 25-year run of The Oprah Winfrey Show.
Good fucking riddance.
Yeah. I always found it funny, and I know I've talked to you about this before, but, the Oprah Winfrey Network, okay? It's owned and controlled by Oprah Winfrey, like a black person, okay, whoop-de-doo. But the name of her network is abbreviated as OWN. I just find that a little weird, Anyway, 2012, the SpaceX Dragon became the first commercial spacecraft to successfully rendezvous and berth with the International Space Station. Now, I did not know that. I did not know that the connection was made. So that's really interesting.
Yes.
Why don't you take the last four?
Yeah, in 2013, a gas cylinder explodes on a school bus in Pakistan city of Gujarat, killing at least 18 people. God damn.
Jeez.
Who the fuck puts a gas cylinder on a fucking bus?
Well, maybe it was, well, I don't know. Maybe it was some kind of, road warrior or something. I don't know. It's Afghan. It's Pakistan. It's wild out there.
It's not Mad Max over there.
I don't know, man.
All right. 2013, suspected Maoist rebels killed at least 28 people and injured 32 others in an attack on the convoy of Indian National Congress politicians in Chhattisgarh, India.
That's awful.
Yes. Also, 19, Ireland votes to repeal the 8th Amendment of their constitution that prohibits abortion, and all but a few cases choosing to replace it with a 36th Amendment of the Constitution of Ireland.
Let me look that up really quick. 36th Amendment of the Constitution of Ireland. It is an amendment to the Constitution of Ireland which permits the I can't pronounce that word, to legislate for abortion. The Constitution had previously prohibited abortion unless there was a serious risk to the life of the mother. What is this other word, though? OIREACHTAS. Like, Oriaris?
Octiaries?
Maybe. The National Parliament, as you say, Octiaries, consists of the President and 2 houses. Okay, so it's a government thing. And one more.
And 2018, the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, becomes enforceable in the European Union.
Now, I want to say something. Now, the source I use is so painfully obviously left, liberal, like extremist left, that, and we'll see that at the end of verse today, that 2 years ago on this date, a certain event happened that plunged the nation and possibly the world into another level of chaos that we're still trying to fight to get out of. I, of course, am talking about George Floyd. Now, what makes me wonder is, why wasn't that in the articles, unless you intentionally omitted it?
No, mine didn't even see that.
Yeah, but then, like, in the death section, as I said, my source says that he was murdered by the police officer. He was not. Like, toxicology report, all this other stuff, flat out not. So 2 years to the day, and people are still saying that Floyd was murdered. He was not. So I just wonder, like, how my source would still be leaning that, and then not even mention, in the main body. It's just weird, Anyway, before we move into births and deaths, any articles grab your attention?
A lot of them, but
Anything specifically?
too many to say.
Well, for me, it'd have to be like the SpaceX thing docking with the ISS. That's interesting. There a lot of stuff happened. Like, I agree with you. Like, it's a Hands Across America thing that was intriguing. Yeah. All right. Well. Oh yeah, the first Unabomber hit. Anyway, let's move into burst here. Why don't you start us off?
Yeah. And that's deaths.
Yeah.
1048, Emperor Sing Song of Song. A big time jump to 1416, Jacobs James Count of Lichtenberg.
Now that's intriguing. James has been around since the 1400s, at least, as far as right here.
1889, Igor Sikorsky, Russian-American aircraft designer who founded Sikorsky Aircraft.
Yeah, his name is supposed to be Igor. I typoed accidentally. My bad. Let's see here. I believe that has to be 1898. So another typo right there. 1898, Bennett Cerf was an American publisher and television game show panelist who co-founded Random House, dying in 1971. Then in 1900, George Lennon, Irish Republican Army leader during the Irish War of Independence and the Irish Civil War, dying in 1991. 91 years. That's pretty cool. And then, who else was born today? In 1907? You knew. You knew.
You know who?
He was a Burmese politician who was the first Prime Minister of Burma, dying in 1995.
Okay. 1917, Steve Colchan, U.S. film, television, and stage actor.
Now, I gotta interject real quick. That's a real rarity nowadays, when you think about it. Like, we still have all those mediums, but, who still, acts on stage? Who's still a thespian? And then goes to film, goes to TV, normally, they're like in their own little pockets, and there's very few, if any, interconnectivity, like people going from one thing to the other, back and forth, you know what I'm saying? Who else do we know? Who's a big film screen actor who used to be on stage? Nobody, to my knowledge. So, anyway.
1927, Norman Petty, U.S. singer, songwriter, pianist, and producer. 1932, Casey Jones. Okay. U.S. baseball player and coach. Not the Casey Jones I'm thinking of.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at this. Casey Jones, named after his father, who had been named for the legendary railroad engineer Casey Jones. KC grew up in a poor family in Texas during the Depression. Okay, so
Yep,
Yeah.
not the Casey Jones I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Huh.
The one who was with the turtles.
Yeah, but it's not telling me what K or C stands for. It's just saying that he's named after Casey Jones, which is C-A-S-E-Y, and they just abbreviated that weirdly. And I don't know. I guess that's just his name, K-C. You know, I guess he doesn't have a full name. Anyway, 1935, we have W.P. Kinsella, was a Canadian novelist and short story writer, dying in 2016. And let's see if I can figure out their name. Yes, William Patrick Kinsella. Okay, so I can actually figure out someone's name. Good. 1939, Ian McKellen is an English actor. And he's the guy who played Magneto, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Gandalf.
And Gandalf, yeah, that's right. Then 1946, David A. Hargrave was a U.S. game designer who created Arduin, dying in 1988. Dang. He was only, what, 42 years? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, can you imagine 46 to 88? That's only 42 years. You know, you're talking about the end of the... Like, just after the end of the Second World War. And then now you're, like, almost into the 90s. And that's only 40 years. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
You almost got a free... shut up, Henry.
What about salad fingers?
I'm about to say you almost got a free train ride.
Oh.
Train rides were in... The free rides were ended that time. Now you have to pay to go there.
Anyway, 1963, Mike Myers was born on this date. He is a Canadian-U.S. actor, singer, producer, and screenwriter. This is the same Mike Myers who played Austin Powers, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, baby.
And Shrek.
And Shrek, yeah.
1967, Mark Rosewater, head of the Magic the Gathering.
Head designer. Yeah.
Head designer of Magic the Gathering. Ooh.
Yeah.
1972, Karan Johar, Indian actor, director, producer, and screenwriter. 1984, DJ Goat the Fourth, U.S. race car driver. God damn, he's the fucking fourth.
Yeah. Well, I tried to search for DJ Goyet the Fourth, and I'm getting DJ Khaled hits for some reason. DJ Earworm? Which, what? Why would you name yourself Earworm? That's, ugh. Yeah, I'm just getting, like, DJ. And then I get DJ from the Island TV show. Like, the cartoon one. What was it called?
Total Drama Island?
Yeah, Total Drama. I'm trying to find this guy. I'm getting everything but this actual guy. Well, so I guess he'll just be known as DJ. Anyway, moving on up into death, starting in the year 675, we have Li Hong, was a Chinese prince, having been born in 652. And then 916, Flan Sina, king of Meath. Not to be confused with meth, because that belongs to Walter White. But yeah, no, there is a king of Meath. What? You know what? Let me look this up. What Meath? Let's see here. Meath. County Meath. Okay, maybe it was just this. But let's
That's
see
the
here.
king of meat.
King of meat.
Meat.
Meat. Flan Sina. Let me look this guy up. Flan Sina.
Remove
King.
the H and you got meat.
Yeah. Well, the
King of
Kingdom of Meath is a section on the Ireland island. Yeah, during the Viking Age, the first Viking Age. Okay, well that's interesting. Then
They put the H. Because put the H because they will not feel damned if they were called the king of meat.
King of Meat. And then doing a pretty good time skip, actually 1,003 years, 1919, Madam C.J. Walker was a U.S. businessman and philanthropist who founded the Madame C.J. Walker Manufacturing Company, having been born in 1867. But what's her actual name? Madame... well, it's not telling me, but she was black. Okay. Okay. It's not telling me anything about her actual name, so... Alright. Anyway. Your turn.
1948, withhold Pilecki, Pilecki, police officer and resistance leader. 2004, Roger Williams Strauss Sr., U.S. publisher who co-founded Farrar, Straus, and Guru Publishing Companies. 2005, Sun Dutt, Indian actor, director, producer, and politician.
2005 as well, Robert Jankel passed away on the States. He was an English businessman who founded Panther Westwinds, having been born in 1938. And in 2008, we have J.R. Simplot, was a U.S. businessman who founded Simplot, having been born in 1909. And let's see if I can... John Richard Simplot. Okay, good. We've been having some bad luck with figuring out names today for some reason.
And 2014, Wojciech Jaruzelski, Polish general and politician who was the first president of Poland. 2014, Toropy Latui, Slovenian educator and politician who was the first prime minister of Tuvalu. You can finish it off.
Alright. 2014 as well, Matthew Saad Muhammad was a U.S. boxer and trainer, having been born in 1954. Well, he's sad now, he died. And then, as I said before, 2020, George Floyd was a convicted criminal, drug dealer, and user, robber, and attempted murderer of a pregnant lady and her unborn child, having been born in 1973. And that concludes the show. Once again, check the underbar for any links that you may be interested in, which also includes...
Shohin TV on Twitch.
And everything OMNI Coalition. You know, before I continue, like, I said this earlier to my dad today, like, 2 years ago today, or to date, is the George Floyd thing. And since then, so much has happened. It really feels like 10 years of events have passed in the past 2 years. You know, like am I alone in this? Like, it just... Like, it feels like it's just... the whole world just exploded. You know? I don't know. Anyway, for your dose of past events daily, we stream every day between 12 noon and 3 p.m. Pacific time.
2 to 5 Central.
For all of you and all of us, I am Xander.
Slayer.
And you are you. And until you see us tomorrow, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Until then, toodles. Let's go, Brandon.